The replicants from Blade Runner might be the most realistic future of robotics in science fiction. But there's a problem. Replicants really aren't robots at all. Traditional robots are machines built from hardware, metal frames, actuators, and computer chips. But replicants are something much different. They are wetware, genetically engineered humans that are manufactured like products. In the opening scene of Blade Runner 2049, we see a synthetic farm harvesting nematodes to produce protein for off-world colonies. In this future, life itself has become an industrial product. And the biggest biological product is the replicant. The Tyrell Corporation originally designed replicants as laborers for use on off-world colonies. Early Nexus replicant models were easy to identify, but over time, they improved and became virtually indistinguishable from the average person. The Nexus 6 model, which we see in the original Blade Runner film, was physically superior to humans, equipped with what the films describe as paraphysical abilities, greater strength, faster reflexes, and increased resilience. Their only limitation was a 4-year lifespan. Eldon Tyrell, their creator, designed this limit to prevent replicants from developing complex emotions. Replicants were created to perform dangerous and undesirable jobs, so if they developed emotions like empathy, they might begin to question their role as engineered slaves. That fear proved justified. In the film, a group of Nexus 6 replicants escaped their off-world colony and returned to Earth, capturing Tyrell in their search for an extended lifespan. When Tyrell revealed he couldn't make them live longer, their leader, Roy Batty, killed him. Before his death, Tyrell created Rachel, the first Nexus 7 model. Rachel had memories from Tyrell's niece implanted as an emotional cushion. Those memories made her more stable and easier to control. Because of this, she wasn't given the same 4-year lifespan. In Blade Runner 2049, Neander Wallace has taken control of the replicant market and has released the Nexus 9 model, a replicant engineered for near-perfect obedience. These models also had the same implanted memories, extended lifespan, and superior physical abilities, making them ideal workers for Wallace and his customers. The film's main character, Kay, is himself a Nexus 9 replicant working as a Blade Runner, hunting down older models that have become unstable. To ensure these models remained complacent, replicants were regularly subjected to baseline tests, where their emotional responses to psychological questions were measured. A highly reactive replicant would soon be retired by a Blade Runner. By the events of Blade Runner 2049, replicants have evolved beyond just being artificial workers. They are, as the Tyrell motto suggests, more human than human. Though they are biologically almost identical to a normal human, the inhabitants of Blade Runner's universe still treat replicants like a disposable lower class. And to understand why this might represent such a realistic future, we have to look at the 3 categories of artificial life that science fiction usually falls into. The most basic robot you're probably used to seeing in sci-fi is a metal machine with a humanoid form, like C-3PO, or the robots in I, Robot, or the Iron Giant. Their designs are inspired by humans, but they're still clearly machines. The next stage is the android, machines that are designed to pass as human. In daily life, they could be mistaken for one of us. But dig a little deeper beneath their synthetic skin, and you find a mechanical core. Think of Bishop from Aliens, the Terminator, or the hosts from Westworld. Going further, you reach the final stage, artificial humans, the replicants that we see in the Blade Runner universe. These are, in essence, humans. They have organs, not components. Emotions, not coded AI. When androids are damaged, they leak hydraulic fluid. Replicants bleed. But because they're synthetic and genetically engineered, they're treated like machines, a subservient labor class. But if the goal of the corporations in Blade Runner was space colonization and slave labor, wouldn't robots make more sense? Machines can survive radiation, operate without oxygen, and ignore most biological limits. So why build artificial humans instead? The answer is adaptability. Humans are the ultimate generalists. We can be dropped into almost any environment on Earth and figure out how to survive. Our biggest advantage is our ability to learn. Instead of being programmed for one specific task, the human brain can observe a new situation, experiment, and improve through experience. Since replicants are used for everything from combat to deep space mining, creating one all-purpose product rather than hundreds of specialized robots simplifies things. Biological bodies also have the benefit of self-maintenance. They can heal and regulate temperature on their own. A robot, on the other hand, would need constant maintenance to stay functional. Also, consider where these replicants are being used. If the goal is to create a class of artificial slaves for their human masters, you'd want them to interact naturally with people, human tools, and human environments. Our infrastructure is already designed for our body shape. so an artificial human would be able to use those systems immediately. Finally, replicants are standardized. Natural humans vary widely in talent, intelligence, and health. Replicants can be engineered to have the exact desired traits, like enhanced strength and speed, or a limited lifespan. So in a way, replicants combine the best parts of humans and machines, the adaptability of a biological mind with the predictability of a mass-produced product. Today, robotics companies are trying to build machines that can do the same thing. A general-purpose worker that can automate many different tasks in human environments. Boston Dynamics Atlas, Tesla's Optimus, Agility Robotics Digit. These humanoid robots are all on the cutting edge, but they all struggle with similar limitations. The biggest challenges for robots today are energy density, dexterity, and dealing with dynamic environments. It's relatively easy for developers to train a robot to do a single task, but in our daily lives we're doing hundreds or thousands of different things. Taking the trash out, washing dishes. Even simple tasks like these can be broken down into dozens of sub-steps, and they're never exactly the same twice. Small changes in objects, environments, or timing create infinite variations. Teaching robots to handle all of that is extremely difficult. Energy is another major limitation. Batteries simply aren't dense or efficient enough yet for robots to operate continuously for long periods of time. Advanced models like Atlas have the ability to switch the batteries out autonomously at a recharge station, but that means they always have to be operating near specialized infrastructure. Tesla's Optimus might need to recharge for hours after working. A replicant would just need a meal and some water. So the Blade Runner solution starts to make sense when you look at the limitations of the robotic form. Replicants aren't perfect, like us, but evolution has already solved many of the problems robots struggle with. Human metabolism is far more efficient than current robot batteries. Biological healing is more effective than mechanical maintenance. And humans can learn and adapt to new environments almost instantly. The Blade Runner vision combines advanced synthetic biology with developmental control far beyond today's technology. Scientists already use gene editing tools like CRISPR to modify individual traits, and tissue engineering has allowed researchers to grow replacement organs in the lab. So the framework for designing improved biological traits already exists. But replicants would need to be grown as complete organisms. A human body isn't assembled like a machine. The brain and the body develop together through years of sensory input, hormones, learning, and experience. Instead of trying to build better robots, Tyrell and Wallace decided to build better humans. And in some ways, that might be the direction real robotics research eventually moves. All of this points to the same conclusion. Replicants are the ideal worker. They are genetically engineered to perform difficult jobs and designed to be obedient enough to not question their working conditions. But in the context of the film, it's easy to forget that these replicants are, in essence, humans. Just humans that are built, not born. If replicants existed in our world, would we treat them the same way? As Wallace puts it, civilizations are built on a disposable workforce, but humans have lost our touch for slaves unless they're engineered. Today's robots are still clearly machines, so it doesn't feel strange to order them around or have them do the jobs we don't want to do. But if robotics continues to move forward towards more adaptable, human-like systems, the line between machine and person may eventually disappear. And when that day comes, will we still treat them like tools? Science fiction often imagines a future where robots look so human we can't tell the difference. But the real nightmare Blade Runner presents is the opposite, that will create humans so mechanical we no longer feel the need to treat them like people at all.